What's up, Jessie? I'm glad you're here.
Thanks for having me. Stoked to be here.
Introduce yourself and let's get rolling.
My name is Jessie Carnes. I'm from Jacksonville Beach, Florida.
You've been here a little while, though. You're coming up 10 years, right?
9 years. I moved here April 1st, 9 years ago.
Now you're head surfing coach at Surf Simply.
Yeah.
One of, if not the finest surf school in the world. There's so many good surf schools here, but you guys have a different product. So tell us your story.
When I was like 19, 20, I was doing the college school, like head down in school full time. I worked 3 jobs. I was living with my dad and I was just like not very happy I wasn't surfing. And I grew up like surfing since I was 11, competitions, all that stuff. So I just like wanted to be in the water as much as possible. And I remember I got home from working like two different shifts at 2 different places, just got done with a class in university and come home and my dad's like, it's time. He's like, you got to get car insurance, health insurance, life insurance. You need to get that apartment, like time to move out. And I was like, I'm not ready for this. So I did some research and I found out like other countries were really good at doing a gap year, which is basically a year after high school, before you go to university, you go around the world and you just travel and you experience life. And I was like, I need to do that. So I continued working my 3 jobs. I actually took a couple of semesters off and I saved up money living at my dad's house to come to Costa Rica. And the plan was to move to Playa Negra for 3 months. Playa Negra is an awesome town. The wave is incredible. But 9 years ago, it had a population of 50 people. So I was like, this is getting a little too small town vibe. I went up to Tamarindo and I was like, ooh, this is a party town. So I came down to Nosara and I just fell in love.
So it hit you right away.
I loved the early to bed, early to rise, the surf, the wave. Ostia now is like 20 minutes away. And I was like, this is where I want to be. And so that's when I moved up the road from you. I think I was like a house away from you. Kind of backing up a little bit, actually. I did 3 months and I had to leave. And then I came back and did 3 more months and then did 3 more months and 3 more months. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to move here.
Were you scared pulling the trigger or was it like, no, I'm out of here?
You know, I just was happy and I knew like going back home, like I would have been unhappy. So just being here and being happy, I felt was like the reward in itself.
So how'd you make it work?
I did like a couple surf lessons here and there. That's like the only thing I really knew how to like teach or do. And then I started working at the Banana.
Oh, man, I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
I was a bartender with Maureen and Cecile and her family. They really treated me like a daughter of their own, and I felt like part of their family. But again, I started to get into that pattern of late nights and not surfing. So I was like, uh-oh, something's got to change. And I always say luckily, Maureen is as good looking as she is because she attracted this one fellow into the bar named Rue. Rue is the co-founder of Surf Simply. And so they're chatting at each other up and I'm over here like, who's this guy, Maureen? And she's like, he is the owner of Surf Simply. And I started talking to him and people in the company and they were like, you should apply. Like, you'd be a perfect fit. And so I did. And I applied and I talked to Rue that night and he's like, send in a video of you teaching something and we'll go over it. So yeah, I applied and I got the job.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that. So you got the job at Surf Simply. What next?
I basically got the job at 22. It was my dream job. My dad finally on our phone conversations went from come home, you know, get back to Jacksonville to, oh, I can see you've actually found your calling. Like, this is amazing.
I'm guessing it took a minute.
Just like a couple of years of working there. And I was like, yeah, this is it. Like, this is amazing.
So then dad came around?
Yeah. And then dad was like, all right, I can see why you like this.
How weird is it to try to explain to your family, this is just who I am and this is something I need to do and nothing's going to be right unless I find a way to make this kind of happen somehow?
I think the only way to convince someone is to buy them a plane ticket, get them down here so they can experience it for themselves.
Going back to Surf Simply for a second, when you first started there, it wasn't the powerhouse that it is today. Like, you guys have built something really special.
Yeah, it definitely was in its earlier stages and now it's completely different.
Well, now you have all kinds of publicity from all the magazines and your podcast and just all the success and the hundreds, if not thousands of satisfied clients. It didn't used to be like that. When you guys went from innocent into Surf Simply, you made a couple marketed changes that most surf schools don't do. You guys kind of like hit a breaking off point from normal surf school into I want to do something really, really different.
Rewinding that, Rue would teach out of his van.
Yeah, he used to have a trailer.
Yeah.
Like, down at Main Beach.
And Rue being Rue, like he'd give a lesson and people just start hanging around the trailer with him. And he's like, well, maybe I should open like a store so people can hang out more. Then they opened the store and people were hanging out like more. And he's like, all right, him and Harry, I think, came up with the idea of like, maybe we should open like a place where people can stay like Saturday to Saturday and like just give them all of this information that's just cooped up in our brains. And then that's just how Surf Simply and the resort that was by Bodhi Tree started, is like, all right, let's do a Saturday to Saturday, all inclusive, like take you out to restaurants, have a chef cook for you, teach you surfing, like you sleep, you eat, you surf all day, like sort of atmosphere. Surf Simply's approach is just so different. Like it's very technical. Like we're not just trying to push you into waves and have a good time. Like we're trying to teach yourself how to continue to surf. So when you leave that week at Surf Simply, you're still growing as a surfer and you're still adapting as a surfer from your week at Surf Simply. So I feel like that's one of the biggest reasons of why Surf Simply is so successful, is that they have all this information, this technical information that keeps allowing them to grow as a surfer, which is fantastic. So they're not feeling lost when they come out of a lesson. They're feeling safe, confident, has some drills, has some things to go out and work on and you know, continue to grow.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
Well, thank you guys. You guys have been phenomenal for the community and do a lot of good stuff that you guys don't ask for credit for it, but you do. Between the bomberos and a couple other key things, you guys really do stuff. But a lot of people have a lot of beef with you guys. Not so much now. It seems like things are super cool now. But in the past, a lot of people really disliked you guys.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
I think that a lot of people don't know that, like, we're not attracting the clientele that's already here in Nosara. Like, we don't take any walk-ins. We're not advertising here in Nosara. And I feel like people maybe don't know that. Like, people are booking in advance. All of our advertisement is online. All of our marketing is online. Like, we're not going around grabbing people off the streets who are looking for that one-off surf lesson. Our clientele is specifically people who want to get coached in the water, not, like I said earlier, not just have that one-off experience of catching a wave in Costa Rica. Our clientele is specifically traveling here to enjoy Costa Rica, of course, in Nosara because it's so beautiful, but because they want to get better at surfing and improve. And
you're saying that you're not stealing clients from other surf schools here?
Absolutely not. Definitely not. If anything, like, if people can't make that week or anything like that, if they can't get in to the Surf Simply program, we actually refer them out to, Nelson, who's just on your podcast, we give him lots of clientele. We send out a lot of info for all the other surf schools around town. So
it's a pretty intense program. So the people are coming in are signing up for that duration and intensity.
Yes,
and that's sure. That makes sense. So that's how you guys have found a way not to really compete with the other surf schools here. Yeah, like, again, we're taking, our clientele just is looking for a complete different package, and that's what we offer. So let's move to crowds. So cool. There's a bunch of y'all, and there's a bunch of people in guiones. Are you guys clogging the lineup and ruining guiones for everyone? People might think that, of course. So I'm asking it in that way, so people are like, yeah, what do you got to say about that? A couple of things on this. The first thing, before we send anyone out the back, they have to know etiquette. And we teach surf etiquette the first day that they arrive, the first day of the program. So that's super important. The other thing that we teach people before they go out the back or catch an unbroken wave is how to maneuver and control the surfboard. We teach them board mechanics, how a board turns, how it stops, how it accelerates, how to carve, change direction. So we give our surfers specific tools and techniques that they can use out in the water to avoid collisions, as in changing direction on a surfboard. Etiquette, so they don't drop in on anyone, and respect other surfers around them. And, one of the part of etiquette is can't take every single wave that comes to you. Like, sharing is caring. And that's, one of the things that we really try to highlight. And we really try to work well with Safari, who surfs right next to us. Like, we stay in our sort of area, in our zone. And we just make sure that their guys are getting tons of waves. Our guys are getting tons of waves. Free surfers that come through that
sit in the middle of our pack that we're like, hey, you want this wave, go for it. So we really try to get the ego out of it and communicate, because I think that's what goes wrong in most lineups around the world. And of course, accidents are going to happen. So like eventually, say someone accidentally drops in on someone, like part of that etiquette as well is going up to the person, apologizing, noticing what they've done wrong, and then learning from it. The other thing that we do is we video almost every situation. So say someone, drops in on someone, we show that client that video and say, look, that person did have priority. Look how you're not looking over your shoulder in the direction of priority. You need to be looking over that shoulder towards the peak more to recognize, that person has priority and to go.
That's a good point. So there's a lot of learning lessons in that video.
We video almost every single day.
So the resort's up. Mm-hmm. Tell me about that place real quick.
So I know you and Harry talked a lot about it on the last podcast, but the new resort is life-changing.
Why?
So we used to, I'm sure some of you guys may remember, we used to have to truck down all of our guests.
Your big Kia truck with the bench seats in the back.
All of the surfboards down, and we'd have to go over the bumpy roads, and now we just have straight access to the beach, which is beautiful. The whole thing, the whole sustainable way of how it's constructed and how it's just sitting there, and it's going to be LEED certified. Like, it's just fantastic.
So tell it, just LEED certification in case someone didn't catch the Harry podcast.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
LEED Platinum is just basically a building that is as much as a sustainable building can be. So we use rainwater as our water. We reuse the water that has been used. Gray water goes, back into the garden, and it's been treated and all that stuff. And then all of our AC and everything is off solar panels. So all of our electricity is off solar panels. So it's really rewarding to know that we're in the jungle. We're not wasting or using too much as a business. It's
a small town, and people don't like change. Like, people weren't too happy, and I was honored enough to help find the piece when Rue was putting it together, and I was like, that one right there.
Yeah.
The reason why I thought it was so great was because you're right bordering a nature preserve. You do have the beach really close by. And I also knew you guys would be like a potential model for other people.
Right.
But I also knew, and Rue knew this too, to give shout out to Rue, he was like, the first couple of years are probably we're going to catch some flack. But then after people see what we do and how we do it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to balance out. And I'd say that he called it. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. I feel like we've done just that too.
People don't like change. There's so much hate. And if you do cut a tree, people are mad. I remember the first big tree that went down, it was hate towards you guys. Like, no one's business. Actions are louder than words. So people are like, well, maybe they're saying this, but the tree's down. And then the point was, do you know how many they just planted?
Right, yeah.
Do you know how much they just offset that existence? And it's a shame. Of course, anytime an older tree has to come down, it's horrible. But you can offset. You can do amazing things. I talk about you guys a lot because I catch a lot of flack for selling a lot.
Thanks, Rich.
And then also, you guys have been our biggest referral source for our existence. Like, you guys mean the world to us. You might not know it, but you do. Here's what I tell people straight up. Even the biggest haters, even your neighbors, when initially they were so mad, I said it to all of them. If everyone built the way those guys built, this town's going to be just fine. And I stand by it.
Yeah, I do too. Well, now the construction's gone. The new trees are there. And I feel like it actually looks beautiful. Like, people walk by and they're like, oh, what is that? It looks awesome. It looks gorgeous.
That's a LEED Platinum certified surf school.
Yeah, exactly.
That everyone thought was doing everything wrong, and it turns out they're doing a lot right.
Yeah.
So I like this story.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it's good.
It's special.
Let's talk about Nosara for a little bit, because Nosara is going through a growth period unlike ever before, really. When you first moved here, we didn't have any publicity.
Right.
You only kind of came here if someone told you about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there was no reason to go to Nosara. It's hard to get to. The access was difficult. We didn't have that many bridges getting in the rainy season. You might get stuck.
I do remember we did get stuck one year.
It's not a heavy wave. It doesn't barrel. Like, it's not. Yeah. It's just not like that. But it's incredibly consistent. It breaks at every tide, every day. And it's a phenomenal spot to have a surf school, right?
Right, yeah.
So when we first moved here, there wasn't as many surf schools. There were already a lot, but there wasn't as many. And now there's tons, right? We have a couple dozen surf schools.
I'm going to say there's about 25.
Surf Simply, back when it was innocent and Rue, you didn't have the same clientele at that time that you do now. A lot's happened. The publicity has changed. We have a whole new demographic coming in and buying and building and doing different types of stuff. The type of construction that's happening now is far superior in quality, environmentally and just quality wise than it even was just a couple of years ago. The people who are coming in now have money and they like the environmental side of things. They want to keep it green. They want the monkeys to be here and they have the money to actually do something about it. So my take on all the growth is towns grow. Is it always going to be the same as it was? No, of course not. Are you going to stop people from coming here though? The wave's too consistent. We have 25 surf schools bringing people in every day. And then we have real estate companies. Then we have all the whole yoga scene and Pilates scene. It's a blue spirit. It's all happening. When we used to live in the back of Selvamar, there's no one was around anywhere.
No.
Just so what's going on? Why is Nosara taking off?
I think for all the reasons why you and I fell in love with it in the first place. Like, it has to be like the lifestyle, the waves, the health, the yoga. You're so like at your best here. Like, you don't sit on the couch all day because it's too sunny outside. You're, there's the jungle, there's the sun, there's the waves, there's classes, exercise classes. It's such a amazing atmosphere. Like, if I were to take a week off, like, this is where I would want to be.
That was a cool statement, Jessie.
Yeah.
That was actually really solid. I'll have to use that sometime. If I was going to take a week off, this is where I'd want to be.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Well, that's why the smile's on your face, because you're where you want to be. And
it's filled with, like, the people who live here. It does take a certain person to live here. We can't go to Target down the road and get whatever we want. You know how Facebook brings up memories of what you had? So, like, 9 or 8 years ago, I woke up this morning, went for a surf, and then had to go to the bank. My motorcycle didn't start. Once I finally got it to start, went to the ATM. ATM wasn't working. Went inside the bank. The system shut down. Couldn't pull out money or whatever I needed. Oh, well. So it's like, you have to have that patience to live here. And like, no, you're going to drive to, go surf one day and your tire's going to go flat.
Or your wheel's just going to fall off.
I remember Andrew Saxton, I pulled up to Surfing Nosara one day and I'm just like knocking on the glass window like, Andrew, help me. And he helped me like redo my tire and take me. But it takes a certain person to be here. Your
story that you just told was funny for a couple of reasons. First off, because you were like, well, my motorcycle didn't start. How many people your age are driving a motorcycle to work that day back in Florida?
Yeah, none.
So that part was funny.
Yeah.
Then I got to go surf.
Always.
So in Florida, we don't have waves.
Yeah.
So you got to surf, then your motorcycle, which is funny in itself. And then everything was broken. And then finally, the last part, the system was down.
Yeah.
How many times have you heard those words?
So many times.
When I used to have to go to Banco Popular, right by where I work, the system was always down. So I learned to just sit through it.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose your spot because you have to get a number, wait forever to get to the spot. Then the system's down. And then if you leave, you're messed up. So I just wait the system out.
Yeah. It just takes that certain patience, doesn't it? Like, it's okay.
It really does.
Yeah.
If you called me up, you're like, hey, Rich, can't make it. I got stuck. I'd be like,
right? It's like completely normal. Yeah. I remember before they built, do you remember this? Before they built the bridge to Osteonal, you had to cross, because I had the motorcycle, over that rickety, wired bridge or suspension bridge. And every time I was like, well, today might be my last day crossing over this river with crocodiles in it.
It's kind of scary.
It's so scary. It's like almost torn down now. Like the jungle has taken hold of it.
Actually, do you remember how big of a celebration was it the day that we got the Bailey Bridge for Oceanal?
Oh my gosh.
Remember that?
Yeah.
That was a big deal.
Huge. I remember I'd just drive up there and almost every time at the river just see a rental car stuck in the river in the rainy season. Like, oh, sucks to be you.
It does.
Yeah, so no more rental cars stuck in that river.
Wow, yeah. That was a big deal. A lot of stuff changing. Super Nosara, the supermarkets.
Yeah.
Doctors coming in, bridges, access.
I mean, it. I'm ready.
So let's talk about that. I'll play devil's advocate.
Okay.
Everything's changing. It was better how it used to be. This sucks. Everyone's coming in. Everyone's found the place. They're even talking about doing the road. Nosara's gone to hell. It's not good anymore.
I'm ready. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for Nosara to grow. I'm ready, for the businesses here to get more popular and for this town to just keep growing.
Why?
I'm ready for paved roads.
Why?
I am. I think the amount of dust that goes into families and people who are on motorcycles, as I used to be, and quads, like, that's just so not fair to them. Air pollution is such a big thing in the whole world. Why is this any different? Like, we need to be making sure that families are being able to go to work because they're healthy, not because they have asthma. I think the dust is like probably the worst thing. Okay, fine. You got me on the dust, but people are coming down, building up these mega hotels like this new Surf Simply place. Yeah. They're ruining the jungle and killing all the wildlife. What do you say to that? I say that that's just an easy way to look at it. But if you know the rules and regulations of NESARA, like, you have people like Bobby Johnson and Cookie who aren't going to allow that to happen. People like you who are, you know, going to sell certain properties to certain people and push it. Like, I feel like that this community, you're not allowed to build X amount of distance to the water or in the refuge. Like, the Harmony set good examples. Surf Simply has set good examples. You're not going to come in here and throw up a huge condo. Like, there's too many people here who love this place that won't allow that. So I feel like the community in itself is probably one of the things that will hold it together. If we didn't have the Bobby Johnsons and the Cookies and the U's, probably, you're right, like, probably would go in that direction. But I feel like this community is super strong. And all right, fine, you're getting me on that too. You're overcoming all my objections. You mentioned Bobby and Cookie and people like that. So let's talk about them for a second. Yeah. So they are tough. Yeah, super tough. Yeah. Bobby had to have thick skin back in the day. Yeah. But her thick skin of back in the day might not be the right thick skin for today. Right. Yeah. It's a different point in time. Right. We talk about that a lot. Bobby's a different. I've recorded an episode with her. I'm just sitting on it forever. So. Yeah. And then we did one with Cookie and the NCA. So I want to talk about the Civic Association for a minute. Okay. So if someone ever comes and says, "Hey, everyone's tearing down all the wildlife and everything's going all to hell. It's all going to turn into McMansions everywhere." First off, it's just not possible. As long as we keep these green areas, like behind the Harmony, behind the Nomadic, behind there, that green area, that and the other green areas that the Bobbies have fought so long for, and Cookie's now fighting for, and all of us who are members of the NCA are fighting for it by supporting the NCA. The NCA is the one who helped when the golf course project didn't happen and they turned the golf course holes into green areas. Like, they're the ones who fought to keep it that way. Yeah. But people have tried to take that away from NESARA because they're not federal reserves. It isn't. It's like a kind of self-imposed preserved, honored by people like the NCA. So if people support them and join them, that's how we keep this place cool. Yeah. Yeah. But if we don't support them, then we could lose it. It could be a mess. So that's why we try to get everybody on the NCA bandwagon. And if you have a beef with NCA from 1994, 98, and 2004, and even 2014, that is way in the past. Yeah. We have a new NCA. We have our first TICA female president leading it. And Cookie is opening up lines of communication with Nicoya that I didn't think would ever happen. Right. And normally we just always think in Nicoya, it's like, oh, they hate us, you know? I feel like people don't know how much she is in the middle of that battle. Like, we're over here saying, like, let's do this, let's be progressive, let's grow as a community. And then them and I, or the government, or it's like, nope, can't do that. Well, some of our friends, like you and I both have friends who are anti-growth, but at the same time they work in a business here. Like, it's yeah. So I guess yelling about growth indiscriminately isn't going to work. No. You can't stop progress. It just doesn't work. Right. If there's waves, there's surf, there's fun things to do, there's restaurants, people are going to go. Yeah. So the question isn't stop growth, because you can't. Yeah. What you can do is you can grow responsibly. If we can keep doing that, I think NESARA's going to be just fine. I think you're right. Agree with that. That's interesting, though. That's a good discussion, good dialogue. Your story's a classic one. Yeah. My young daughter thought she was just being ditzy and just wanting to surf and play and didn't know she was going to pull it off. But now look at you. And you've been honored with a lot of publicity recently and a lot of accolades. And you're not old yet. Nope. Congratulations on your success. Thanks for coming in. Thank you. Thanks for having me.